Hi guys, it's Elisa, also known as the Diamond Stitcher on YouTube and Instagram. Welcome if you're new, welcome back if you're coming back. I really do appreciate that you are here taking time out of your day to take a look at my videos. My first goal was to reach 100 subscribers, and thanks to you all, I did that. So I am very, very grateful for that. My next goal that I'm setting for myself is to reach 250 subscribers, and when that comes, I will do another little giveaway. But anyways, I had a question the other day from somebody on one of my videos asking if I really am multiplacing, and it kind of made me chuckle. I use my multiplacer whenever I can. I don't do it to be fast at diamond painting. I do it because when I sit down to diamond paint, I have a limited amount of energy and time that I can do it, and I want to make the most out of my session. So I do use a multiplacer quite a bit, and I thought, why not film a little video with some tips and tricks that I learned early on that really helped with my multiplacing. As you can see, the canvas in front of you is still Fairy Lights by Ivy Dolmore, and of course Diamond Art Club. I did some blinging up of her wings actually this weekend. I don't know if you can see. I put some crystals in here from Oraloa. I'm really happy with how they fit and how they turned out. This has all been multi-placed, even in her face here. Now, when you're multi-placing in a darker area, like the background here, it's much easier because it's harder to see imperfections. So if you have a little crooked diamond or a little wobbly line in darker backgrounds, it's going to be harder to see. You're going to see it a lot more easily in the lighter areas. So when I get to a face, or if the background of a specific painting is really light, I'm a little more careful. But with this painting, the shades are nice, that I don't have to be a super perfectionist, which I'm not anyway anymore. I used to be. But I think I've been multiplacing for long enough now. It's kind of like muscle memory. As with anything, practice makes perfect. So the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. So yeah, that's how I got where I am today. I am going to show you what I'm using. So my Bistro Blanks Panda pen. She's got everlasting tips in them. I like the bent single placer. It just takes some of the pressure off my wrist when I'm diamond painting. And then I have I believe it's a 5 placer in this tip. I get questions sometimes on the thickness of the width of the opening of these tips. These are everlasting tips, which is on Etsy. I would say that they're a regular width. I have used cheap metal alloy tips, which are not stainless steel, from Amazon before, that are of similar width, but I still find that these work better. The precision placing diamonds is better, in my opinion, so I do prefer them. I do use these when I diamond paint. I have a few different tips that I switch out in my pens. Again, a bent single placer, and this one is a 7 placer here. You can see I use putty in my multi-placers. In these ones, I have Randa's Crafty Corner putty. I really like Randa's putty because it's firm, and I'm a hard presser. So the firmer the putty, the less stringy it is, and the less likely it is to bleed out onto surrounding diamonds. And by bleed out, I mean, if you overfill these things, you're going to have excess putty come down the sides. So when you are filling it with putty, you want to make sure it's nice and flat on the top. And before you start diamond painting, you can kind of squish it down on some drills you already have placed, like this. Then you're going to see it creates little divots in the putty, and then you might see some excess on the side, so just take it off with your finger and put it away. Because that excess, if it does stick to the glue, or if it does touch the glue, it tends to stick, which is a bit annoying too. So those are my pens. This pink one is from Enabler's Outpost. I am going to use this green DP Gal Creations tray, size medium. This is a Canadian small shop. I'll also link down below. When they do drops of trays, they also turn nice pens as well that are pretty comfy. I don't have one on me right now, otherwise I would show you. But when they do tray drops, it's small amounts. It's just a husband and wife business, and I believe they both work full-time, or at least Jackie, the owner does. So she does this on the side. So their drops are small. You kind of got to be there on the day they're dropping, and colors vary from week to week. I kit up into baggies. This is the color I'm going to use for this video. You can see I've mixed some dark drills in there. We'll pull those out. But This little pink card you're gonna see in some of my videos when I'm pulling my baggies out, it's actually just a cardstock. I just cut a piece to fit into the bag. It helps make them stand up straight so that when I'm going through looking for the symbol, I can see it really easily. I've got a dryer sheet, cut up piece of dryer sheet in there as another tip. That helps reduce any static. I could probably take it out now. It's been in there for quite a few days. I tend to leave them in till the end of the painting just because, but usually after a couple of days, I find that there is no more static left in the bags, which is really nice. And I also want to show you a hack with opening these. If you have nerve damage like me, or you struggle with opening things, it's very difficult to open this, especially if you're sitting there doing it for 20 different colors. So I learned a hack from, I believe it was Mrs. Coffee. What you do is you take your thumb and your finger, put it over the zipper on the Ziploc bag, and you just rub your fingers together like this. That creates this opening here, and sometimes it pops the whole bag open, sometimes it's just the opening here, but I find that that's just enough to pour diamonds in my tray without making a big mess. Now let me put this dryer sheet back. Let me show you how I did that one more time. So to open the bags nice and easily, you just take your thumb and your finger over the zipper, and you literally just rub your fingers together. That opens it nice and easy. Easy to pop open. So that's a useful tip. And that's probably the only way I'm able to kit up into baggies now, because I wouldn't be able to open it the other way. So these are the tools I'm using. This little minder over here that's sitting quietly. This is a special minder. This is from a shop called Agnes Little Minders. She actually hand makes these from scratch, which I find marvelous. I don't know how she gets the ombre effect in the clay. Everything just looks so perfect. Like, I don't see an imperfection at all. I have worked with clay before. Nothing turned out as nice as this. So I only have 2 of these. They are on the expensive side of things. I would consider them more of like a collector's item. They are called needle minders. They work the same way as a cover minder. I put it on top of my release papers because if I'm half done a section like this one that I've done some crystal diamonds down there, you can see. This release paper is not sitting nicely, so how I use these cover minders is I just put it on top, and that secures that release paper from falling off when I put the diamond painting away for the night. When you're multi-placing squares, I should have said this is going to be a square video. That's the painting I have in front of me. I don't currently have a round kitted up. Otherwise, I would show you that in the same video, but the same principles apply. For squares, though, you really need to be working with high quality squares. And by that, I mean squares that line up nicely like this together. They have 0 tabs. Tabs are little, I can't even show you because there's no diamonds in here with tabs. They have little bumps on the side, extra pieces of plastic on the side. That prevents the diamonds from sitting so nicely together like this, and it actually makes multi-placing really, really hard. So you need good quality square diamonds to multi-place properly or effectively. Luckily with Diamond Art Club, you are getting that usually every time, especially with their new upgraded kits. But anyway, without further ado, I'm going to reposition the camera so that hopefully the angle is easier for you to see exactly what I'm doing. So give me a minute and I'll be right back. Okay, so we are back here. Let me just secure this canvas a little bit so it doesn't move on me. A little bit of a bubble from that. Let's move that. There we go. So I tried to angle this camera in a way that you're going to be able to see how I exactly put the diamonds down on the canvas. Now I do have my light pad on because without it I'm not going to be able to see very well. So my light pad is on. Just going to put some release papers here. So I'm going to multi-place this area here with this, what do you call it, a slash, a dash, whatever this symbol is here. It's a nice little area to multi-place. So to start, I'm going to use this 5 placer so that you can see that, and then I'll show you the 7 placer. The same principles apply, it's just a little bit longer. So again, I'm shaking my diamonds so they're nice and close together. When I pick up the diamonds from the tray, I want to pick them up like this so they're nice and close together. If I pick them up with a lot of gaps in between, then my placing's not going to be sitting exactly how I want it. When I pick up diamonds from a tray, I usually pick them up in a rolling motion. It's the same way I'm going to show you I put them down on the canvas, but I find rolling them, for me, it makes them go in the right spot. I'm trying to think of how I explain this. It just works. If I plop my pen down like this, sometimes, this time it did work, but sometimes it messes up the spacing. So what I find better is I actually roll the drills on. So I'll put it on the outermost diamond here, and I kind of just roll it down, and I kind of do this little shimmy just to make sure that it is stuck. Sometimes if you've used the same putty for a while, it can get a little unsticky. That's just the nature of it. So here you can see I've made sure that the diamonds are on here nice and straight, not crooked. And when I go to place them down, I place this outermost diamond that's closest to me down first. So I'm gonna ever so carefully aim that so it's right in the exact spot it needs to be in its square. Now you can see that my tip is at an angle here, and what I do is I roll these diamonds on one at a time. Now try to go slow so you can see that. Now when I roll them on, I find that it just makes them fit nicely. Now this one I might move over a tiny bit, but generally speaking, they all landed exactly where I wanted them to. So I'm going to do a few more rolls like this and repeat what I'm doing. I'm picking up 3 diamonds now because this is the spot I need. So again, another actual key tip I forgot to mention is I ground with my pinky side of my hand. So I will put it on the canvas. I'm just going to move the release paper even closer. I put a release paper down so my finger's not sticking to the canvas, and I actually rest that pinky side on it. I find my hand is shaky because of the nerve damage, and I also find it just provides a better precision using the pens as well. So I always ground. Now I'm going to put that bottommost diamond down and roll it on. Okay, now you may need to wiggle them around a little bit. Remember that if you've stuck these on really good, the seal under the glue hold on to those diamonds. So you got to break the seal in order to move them around a little bit. And I'll show you a bit more about that in a minute. Let's grab some more diamonds here. So I've picked 5 up again. I'm going to put that bottommost diamond closest to me down exactly center in that square. And then I'm slowly going to roll them into place. Okay, now I'm going to put the 2 at the top of that row. When I use any multiplacer really, you don't have to pick up the amount of diamonds it's made for. Like this is made for 5. I'm picking up 2 right now. And what you can do if you already have diamonds laid down like this is it's actually helpful to ground the multiplacer on top of them like this. And then you're going to aim that diamond closest to you right over its square, and you're still going to roll them on. But I find that if you have some diamonds placed like this, I always leave at least 1 or 2 spaces here, and it helps me put them on better. I just grabbed 3 here because I want to show you again. I roll it on. Now I need 4. So here's an example. So I didn't leave a space at this end here. So when I go to put this one down, I might feel like that the multiplacer is bumping into that one, and it might cause me to leave a space like that. So that's where I find leaving an opening on one end very helpful. I can put it right over that diamond so that they're snug together when I go to roll them on. Now, because there's a space here, I want to move the diamond. If I just pull it down like that and leave it, it's slowly going to pull back up into where it was originally. And that's because the seal underneath the diamond, between the diamond and the glue, needs to be broken in order for it to actually move. So I didn't push these too hard down on the canvas. I tend not to, so that it's easier for me to move them. But to break a seal, what I usually do is take a pair of tweezers and put the tip under the corner and just pop it off. I'm going to do it this way because I don't have my tweezers near me. Try to pick up the diamond again and put it back down. So if you find you're trying to move diamonds around and they're not staying where you want them, they're bouncing back, it's because you need to break that seal underneath the diamond, between the glue and the diamond. And you can do that by using your tweezers to pop it off, or if it's on the end like this, just using your pen to break that seal and put it back into place. let me grab my 7 placer. So same principles apply. You know, after you've been multiplacing for a while, you get really good at guessing how many diamonds are in a row without having to count them individually, which is also really nice. It does come with practice, not to worry. Again, with a 7 placer, I'm going to make sure I'm picking up the diamonds nicely so they're close together like that. I'm going to place that bottommost diamond that's closest to me down on the canvas as an anchor point, and I'm slowly going to roll them into place. Okay? And I'm going to keep doing that as I'm going. Let me do another full 7 here. And I'm going to roll it into place. Now you might have it where, I don't know if you can see, but this diamond went on a little bit crooked. So again, I just break that seal and put it back into place. This one's a bit crooked. I'm going to break that seal and put it back into place. Now I have a single diamond over there. Let's just use a single placer for fun. I find these bent placers, it just takes the pressure off my wrist instead of having to kind of go at it at a 90 degree, is it 90 degree angle? You know, up and down. I can do it off to the side a little bit. It just takes some pressure off. Let me pick up a few diamonds the other way here. So I've left room for 2 on the end there, just to show you. So again, that diamond closest to me down and rolling it on. I need 5 more, so I'm going to pick 5 up with my 7 placer. I'm leaving room on the end there because I want to be able to ground this. It's a little bit easier for me. There we go. And sometimes you might need to take your other end and just click that one into place, I find. Now, there is a technique that I want to show you. It doesn't quite apply to this canvas. I believe this is one of the newer Diamond Art Club canvases because I feel like the diamonds are fitting together really nice. There's not a lot of gapping at all. If you have a canvas that has more gapping, that means that the grid is a little bit larger. You may have to do something called stretching the diamonds. Now, I think I've picked that word up from somebody. It might have been Katie, Diamonds and Washi. I swear that I've learned it somewhere. But it is something that I use, especially with canvases that do have a lot of gapping. Like I said, it's going to be hard for me to show it precisely here because there is no gapping on this canvas, but I think you'll get the general idea. So if I need to stretch my diamonds, if the spaces are not precise as this, I hope you can still see here, I'm gonna anchor that bottom diamond closest to me down. As I'm rolling them on, I'm actually gonna pull the multiplacer ever so slightly up towards the canvas. And what that does, whoops, that one didn't stick. What that actually does, if there's bigger gaps between the diamonds on the canvas, it's going to hopefully make them line up nicer on the canvas there. Again, this isn't the best canvas to show you because there is not a gapping problem. When I do have a canvas that has a larger grid, I'll do a quick video again on the stretching so that you can actually see it precisely in action. But what it's used for is a grid or a diamond painting that has larger gaps and that you want to multi-place, and the diamonds are not lining up as nicely as this. You still anchor that bottom one, and as you're rolling the diamonds on, you're going to pull the multi-placer up there ever so slightly. And hopefully you can see that these diamonds here, they're not sitting flush in their square because I've stretched them. And that's the idea, that the goal for stretching the diamonds. Again, not the best canvas to show you, but I did want to give you that little tip in case you are working on a canvas that has a lot of gapping and you're finding when you're following these multi-placing tips that your diamonds still are not lining up. You might need to utilize that stretching technique. Let me fill this in a little bit more. Again, anchoring that diamond closest to me and rolling down. Now, if you prefer, you can do it the opposite way. You can anchor at the top and roll towards you. It's just whatever feels comfortable for you. I've always done it this way, so that's the way that I continue to do it. And once I filled this in a little bit, I'm going to pull the camera back and show you what it looks like at a proper viewing distance, not up close like this. So let me just fill in a little bit more. Again, I'm using the space on the end of this tip to anchor down here. and put them into place. If you're using squares, the same technique applies. I still ground it with the one diamond and roll them on. I find with rounds, the precision, you have a little bit of forgiveness, I would say. Most of the kits in my stash, well, actually right now it's half and half, but I used to stick to squares mainly, unless it was an image I absolutely have to have. I like the way the squares fit, especially with these new grids and new upgraded diamonds Diamond Art Club has. It's really a joy to work on. I really don't have any complaints at all. We're on the end here. Let me just fill these two in. And let me pull the camera back here in a second. So here we go. Here is this section I just multi-placed right now. If I wasn't talking to you, this probably would take me a minute, maybe less. Just depends. Sometimes it's harder for me to diamond paint, so it does depend on that. But generally speaking, it moves fairly quickly when you have an area of color blocking like this if you use your multi-placer. Start with a smaller one. 5 is the smallest I have right now, but when I was new, I started with a 2-placer and a 3-placer, and I slowly worked my way up. As I became really good at multi-placing with 2 and 3, I did a 4 and a 5, and I kept going up. The longest one I have had is an 11, but I don't know where it is. Otherwise, I would show you. Sometimes I find the longer the multi-placer is, the more likely you're going to run into needing to do that technique I described as stretching. Just the nature of how the distance that you're going with the multi-placer. So you might be finding if it's a really long one that you may need to do a bit of stretching again, which is pulling the multi-placer up to the top of the canvas as you're rolling the diamonds on. I just thought, I guess I should show you with the light pad off too. I have the light pad on in the clip. So when you turn the light pad off, see, you barely see any gapping at all. Maybe right here a little bit, but that's nothing. Sometimes I'll run my nail down there, or you can actually get a straightener tip that's a flat edge tip to run down just to push them over a tiny bit. But let me pull down the canvas too. You know, I see a lot of people posting on the groups, you know, my squares are not straight, I hate it, and they've got their light pad on and they're zoomed in. Well, of course you're going to see gaps. You need to really stand back. Now, I'm not far away from this canvas, and to me, like, it looks fine. I'd venture to say perfect, but nothing's perfect, so it's good. I'm happy with the placement. Nothing's looking super crazy. When you do put diamond paintings up on the wall, if you do hang them, they are meant to be viewed at a distance. I think they say like 3 to 6 feet. I like Diamond Art Club's rendering style because I think it still looks good closer up. Where I hang them in my little spot in the bathroom, it's less than 3 feet, so I really like their rendering style because I can hang it up there and it looks really good regardless. So yeah, here is how to multi-place on Fairy Lights by Diamond Art Club. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, ask them down below. Let me know what multi-placer you use, if you use them, or let me know if you're going to try it now, if you found these tips helpful. If you also multi-place, let me know your tips. You might have some little tips that might help others too. We all learn and teach a bit differently, so be sure to share your tips down below too. I'd love to hear them. Until next time, happy diamond painting, and see you later.